Hello, Todd Clemens, Okeechobee Livestock Market, and here is your weekly market report. We had one sale this week, and that was on Tuesday. We had no sales on Monday due to Labor Day weekend. Normally, Labor Day Rodeo weekend in Okeechobee, the Pete Clemens Memorial Labor Day Rodeo, was canceled this year due to inclement weather. So all you guys that were looking forward to that, as we all do this time of year, I never really understood, Labor Day rodeos, the weather's bad. It's as hot as it ever is in the year, but it's down here in South Florida and it's mud in the arena. The bulls are bucking, the horses are bucking, mud splattering everywhere. It's just a great show. Where can you go? Where else can you go to see something like that? I mean, it's just raw and down and dirty sometimes, but it was canceled due to inclement weather. I think I was about 15 or 16 years old. There was a hurricane on Labor Day, and my dad, Norman Stokes, Doug Parton, Johnny Louthan, I can't even begin to name all the people that were there with shovels in their hands, digging trenches trying to get the water out of the arena. The show must go on is the way they saw it, and that was those old timers, and that's the way it was back in those days. But as we all know, things have changed. So, anyways, hope you found something else to do besides the rodeo. And hopefully the rodeo will be back in March, and hopefully it'll be back next year. That's enough of that. That's my comments. So on with the market. We had a good run of cattle Tuesday after no sales on Monday. I thought we'd have maybe 1,000 head or 1,200 head. Turned out that we had over 1,700 head for the day, and cows are still coming to town. Out of that 1,700 head volume, over 500 head of those animals were slaughter classes, cows and bulls, and it was a mixed bag as far as the market goes. Those slaughter classes were cheaper, probably $3 to $5 cheaper again this week. There's just a huge supply of cattle for sale around the state. Cattle are moving. People are still preg checking. All those undesirable cows that the ranches don't want are coming to the market. And they're coming here and they're coming to all the markets. So they're kind of filled up right now, and prices are under pressure. And again, the dairy cows are selling cheaper than the beef cows because they just can't process all those cows at one time, and it's more cost effective on the beef cows versus the dairy cows for these packers. Don't quite understand all the details about that, but maybe you can just figure it out. It's supply and demand, it's money, and they're figuring that they can spend a little more on those beef cows because they won't shrink as much, they hold over a little better, get a better yield out of them. So hopefully that'll change. And September is always a tough month, and there'll be a lot of cattle moving the rest of this whole month. And so we're just going to have to work our way through September. But on the other side, feeder classes were higher, about as much as cows were lower. I think they were quoted $3 to $5 higher. Definitely looked like it was stronger. And man, what good calves that we had. We came in, had a lot of good cattle coming in this week, calves from everywhere. We had some calves from Goodnoe that came in that were really good. Gosh, I can't remember who all, but some of those 6-weight calves are bringing still up there around 225 to 30 on those front end steers. And get this, there's some heifers, replacement quality heifers, that are coming in here weighing that much in the 6-weight range, that are bringing as much or more than steers are. I saw some of those heifers bring 230 to 250. I saw some 5-weight heifers bring close to $3 a pound. And that's just showing us that there are people that are buying these heifers as replacement heifers, and they're preg checking. They're selling off those cows that aren't bred or old and not producing anymore. And so everybody's got to have heifers to replace those old cows with. But it's sure got those replacement heifers jacked up pretty high, and I'm sure that's happening probably all across the country. But yeah, calf prices were sure holding their value in light of the fact that there are a lot of cattle moving around. The futures closed out pretty strong at the end of last week and kind of found a foothold off that bottom. It was kind of a wreck. Remember, we talked about how fast that thing went down last week, and I think just over the last 4 or 5 trading days on the futures, the fat cattle and the feeder cattle, they've put on almost all that got taken off of it. But cash prices on the fat cattle coming out of the feedlots is still probably $2 or $3 cheaper than where it was, and packers have limited their processing. They're still not up to the numbers that we would hope they would be at. Of course, this week will be a shortened week. There weren't any plants open on Monday, so they'll only be up 4 days, maybe half a day Saturday, which I doubt. But they won't process over but a little, maybe 500,000 or more for the week. And we'd hope they'd be up there around 600,000 or better to keep things more current. There were not many cattle bought on the negotiated cash price. The last figures I saw were about 10% of the animals were purchased on a negotiated price. Out of 500 and some odd head, that's just a very, very small percentage of cattle that are traded on a competitive bidding platform, price discovery, market type transactions, 10%. And then the rest of all the cattle are put on a formula or grid or some kind of paper based on that price. And if you think that's enough cash trade to justify or solidify a real price, I'd like to beg to differ with you. I think it should be 20 or 30% of the volume of cattle ought to be bought off a negotiated price, and then we'd have enough cattle in that price discovery process that we could really set a true value and true worth for cattle. And then the board is kind of always sideways to what the cash is doing, and there's some issues there that hopefully we can get straightened out. So, but it is looking a little better. Things are looking up a little bit positive than it was a week ago. So let's just hang in there through September. We don't have any storms out there in the Atlantic right now, and maybe we can keep it that way, but conditions are getting wet. I think Jack Johnson I talked to down there around Mockley area. He's got some calves he needs to sell from one place that he doesn't even think he can get his trailers into. It's so wet. I know that a lot of people haven't missed many of these rain events that have when it started. They've got all of them, and some places have missed some of them and are in pretty good shape. It's starting to get a little bit damp around Okeechobee. Up on Kissimmee River, we got several inches of rain. Ditches are filling up and ponds are getting full, but you know what? We're going to have that water sooner or later. Rather have it now and get that water table up where it needs to be before the end of the year. So there's your market report. We'll be back to normal schedule next week, Monday and Tuesday, both days. We expect to have big runs of cattle. If you know you're going to bring something in, give us a call. We'll put your name on the list and hold you a number. We'll reserve a lot number for you. But we'll be checking in cattle Sunday afternoon for Monday's sale, and then all day Monday and all day Tuesday. And hopefully we'll have a good week coming up, and we'll catch up on our numbers after this one-day week. High prices for the week. This is something strange that doesn't happen every day. Goodno Ranch, Dwayne House, Little Gene. You guys are going to start selling calves, I know, every week from now on through the rest of the month. But you didn't tell me you were bringing something in yesterday, and guess what? You topped the calf market and the cow market. That doesn't happen every day. But Goodno Ranch from LaBelle topped the calf market with a 230-pound calf that brought $5 a pound. That calf was bought by Oak Lake. And on the slaughter cow side, Goodnoe Ranch, LaBelle, Florida, topped the cow market with a 1,170-pound cow that brought $1.37. Not too bad. That cow was bought by Florida Beef. Thank you for listening. If you like these reports, thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We'll keep this information and news coming to you. We'll tell you what we think. It may be right or wrong, but it's what we think. See you next week. Thank you.